Welcome to the Stanley Street Social daily unpack of the Giro and Vuelta. We are joining you on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. A little bit of an earlier time slot, Campbell, for the AFL Grand Final, to allow you to punch some lagers in the afternoon before we head into a pretty eventful evening tonight.
Yeah, well, I think the Gabba's already underwater. I saw some footage from about 15 minutes ago, and they had about 40 mil of rain. So hopefully the drainage is okay, and we can get a game in tonight.
Yeah. A somewhat eventful day at the Giro last night. Looked on paper to be just a long, unnecessary, filthy day in the rain. It's flat, no real nonsense. Doesn't get windy up there. So it looked to be, just how it is. But before we even got started, there was some rumors going around that there was going to be a shortened stage, that we're potentially going to see a 100-odd K stage instead of 260. And what we got was the riders riding the neutral out of the town, getting back in the bus, and then starting the stage at 120-odd K to go. What on earth is going on?
Well, it sounds like an absolutely bizarre day at the Giro, and it still seems a little bit unclear on what actually happened, who was pulling the strings in the bunch, how many riders and teams actually agreed to the shortening of the stage. I'm sure everyone, deep down would have been happy to have the stage shortened, because like we've been discussing this whole last week, this stage 260 odd K just seems awfully unnecessary. Was awfully unnecessary, but for it to be brought up by the riders, again, not sure which specific riders. We know Adam Hansen was kind of in the thick of it, but I'm sure there must have been some other people as well to get it off the ground. Piped up a little bit last night to have the parkour changed, which for me it's a bit ridiculous that it took them up until 24 hours before the stage to say something. I think this probably should have been something that was done weeks ago, before the Giro even started, and it wasn't like the riders' safety was being compromised, which I think it sets a little bit of a dangerous precedent now. Like, long stage, a bit wet, we don't fancy it. And like I said to you in the pre-recording meeting, which won't lift the hood on too much on what goes on in that, but I would have been the first one to put my hand up and say I don't want to do 260, and I think everyone probably would have been in the same boat. But you do the 260, you honour the organisers. The race has done so well to get this far, and then to pull up stumps because you're a little bit tired from a lack of sleep and the transfers, which is all part of the Grand Tour. I don't know. It just felt a bit off for me. I didn't like it.
Well, first of all, my stance on long stages,
and my stance on them too.
They shouldn't be a thing. There should be a UCI ban on unnecessary length, just purely based on. I assume the length comes from town A is paying X amount of dollars, town B is paying X amount of dollars, and they happen to be 260K away.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty poor. That was
from the riders, or from the riders union, which is a joke.
I think Adam Hansen's getting a bad rap. I think he's just at the helm.
Yeah,
he's the comms man. And if his men are telling him he doesn't want to ride, well, that's what he's got to communicate. I think he's getting a little bit of a bad rap for being the instigator. But
where are the people? Where are the foot soldiers? Have they all disappeared back into the shadows and not putting their hand up?
It's the problem with the sport. There's no unity whatsoever, and the one chance they had, the one opportunity that they've chosen to show this unity, to show this riders union, was wrong. It was so wrong.
Yeah, there's
Like,
been
it was
many other
so far
opportunities.
from. There's so many better ways that you could have used it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think this is going to shoot themselves in the foot a bit.
Yeah, it doesn't make them. It doesn't. Yeah, doesn't reflect the riders in the best light because, I mean, there's been many times where the parkour has actually been dangerous, or the weather has been atrocious. That's when the
Mm.
riders should unite and not want to stage. Yes, last night it was pretty cold. I think it was like 12 or 13 degrees. It was pissing rain. They were up at 6:30 for the transfer. There were a lot of things that weren't great, and not a lot of incentive to do 260k. But like we said, the organisers have got this race so far, and they're the ones that are the ones that are being shafted. And I think the organiser um, has come out and pretty much said like someone's going to pay from
Mm.
this. I'm not sure what he means by that, whether he's going to take legal action on teams or what. But he has every right to be super upset because it was presented to him within 20 hours of the stage starting, not before the whole Grand Tour. So absolute shambles. And yeah, I mean, all focus was kind of taken off the actual race, really.
Mm. I feel sorry for the race organizer. Like, what
Oh
an
yeah,
absolute joke. You've busted your balls to get this far in the Giro. You've done all the work. You've overcome some massive hiccups. It seems like the reined in the process is a bit tighter over the period of the race. And then you've got these riders going, I don't want to do 260 Ks. As you said at the start, I would not want to do 260
of
Ks, and I
course.
would have been the first man to put my hand up to go, yes, give me a shortened stage. And anyone that, I don't know, you see those pieces coming out that some riders wanted to do the full stage. I don't think that's correct. I don't think anyone deep down wants to do the full stage. No one goes, we're going to get benefit out of this 260k day.
Mm.
Even there was no one to benefit. Maybe fatigue a little bit more, but
Yeah. Well, I think Ineos came out and said they wanted to race. Um, maybe because another 260 k's in the legs of Wilco, who I heard that he did 120, an hour 20 by himself on the stage of the Stelvio. So he was time trialing for that long. 260
yeah.
k's in the legs gives you no time to recover. So maybe Ineos had some interest in the stage going ahead. But yeah, I agree. I don't think there was really too much to benefit from anyone. But that was what was set out. That was what the organisers had put forward. You signed up for the Giro,
Mm.
and I don't think it was bad enough. And I saw some things that they were citing. Coronavirus. We don't want to risk ourselves in this bad wet weather. Although I didn't hear any of that when they were going over the Stelvio yesterday, which was 3 degrees at the top. So it's
Or in the first hotel when there was cowboys just rolling around the
yeah.
breakfast table.
So the whole thing seems a little bit off, and yeah, I'm sure there'll be some things to come out of this, but hopefully going forward with these stages, if someone's not happy with it, we can get things in place before the Grand Tour sets off, because it's very hard imagine how hard it is logistically to change that stage.
Oh, and then you just chuck them out in the highway and just start from 120
Yeah,
k's. Like, by the time, the other part too is like the worst part is getting wet at the start.
yeah.
So they've got wet, and then they've got back in the vehicles, and then they've got out and started again. Like, it was almost just as bad. Like, if you're
Yeah,
going to get out and start the race, you may as well just keep on going. No.
yeah. Bizarre night. We haven't seen anything like this in cycling, I don't think.
Mm.
I guess the Milan San Remo was at 2013, where it was snowing and they got in the vehicles. That was a little bit different. That was actually Arctic conditions where riders' health and safety was actually in danger.
Yeah.
Last night, like Tom McFarlane said in the comments, there were guys riding without leg warmers. So it's not super cold. It would have been super unpleasant, but yeah, I mean we could bang on about this for ages, Alvy, but I think we've kind of got our main points across.
Yeah, as Tom McFarlane said as well, the stage was definitely more exciting than it would have been.
Mm. But
So
yeah, The actual race itself, Alex.
Bit on.
Mm.
120 k's we saw in the end after a neutral section. And it was the Peloton v Bora.
Yeah. Do you think if had it been 250k, would have we seen a different outcome? Because who was like I was thinking, you know, everyone tipped FDJ, but you know, were they going to control the bike race for 250k? I don't know,
Probably
because
not.
like we saw last night, they were not interested at all. If the breakaway goes up the road, then that's the sprint jersey, the Mele Chicli Amino, sewn up completely. So that forced Bora to do the chasing. They chased for 50, 60 odd K and just couldn't bring it back, shut it down. And there were some strong boys in the front, really. So it was always going to be tricky to control, but just a bizarre stage. If you had seen the stage results this morning without looking at any of the footage, you would just think, what on earth has happened?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a wild stat sheet. Do you think it was the right decision for FDJ not to ride?
I think so. Because I think last year Demar had the jersey snatched from him quite late in the piece. I know they've won 4 stages. He's the quickest guy there. Is there a big difference between 5 and 4? Would you rather win 5 stages and not the jersey, or 4 plus the jersey? I mean, that's the equation that they were dealing with. So, yeah, I didn't mind it for them. They've already won 4 stages, and Demar's going to walk away with the sprinters jersey. So, a good Giro for them, I think.
A very good Giro for them, and unfortunate for Sagan.
Yeah, I mean, you got his
2 pros on the GC.
Sorry, just want to come in.
Do we? Janine Pearson on Facebook. I think we've been banging on about that your question for the last 10 minutes. So I don't know if you want us to readdress it. But I think in summary, we thought it was a wasted opportunity for the cycling union. It was harsh on the organizer, and it was the wrong decision.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so we had this massive group up the road, and no one chasing on a flat stage.
What was Coffee just doing with 2 guys up the road?
I don't know.
I'm not sure if you saw the footage. Viviani back at the car, the old Italian.
I did see this.
What's going on here? Maybe they had planned for a gallop. And then Nathan Haas and another guy are up the road doing their own thing, which, in the end probably wasn't the worst thing, because the breakaway did go to the finish. But, the number 1 rule, Alex, you never get dropped from the breakaway.
Yep, and they both got dropped from the breakaway.
Mm-hmm.
It's not great, is it?
Hasn't quite clicked for them this year.
It'd be really interesting just to spend like 2 days inside Cofidis and then 2 days inside Quickstep. It's like, what goes on in here? What makes this tick? Like, if that was Quickstep, they'd be the 2 guys up the road going wild. Or they'd be controlling it all day and they just have everything dialed. Cofidis, they've got their sprinter going yahooing back at the car, given the DS this one's, and they've got 2 blokes getting dropped from the breakaway.
Yep, shambles. However, the team that we have been so hard on for 24 months, jagged a big one in incredible circumstances. Like I said just a little bit before, you would have seen the results. You wouldn't have believed it on such a flat stage. But yeah, I mean, CCC get their big win. Joseph Cerny, I think he was 4th in the TT on stage 14. So super strong rider to be able to stay away from that chasing group. And Victor Campenarts was probably the strongest guy there, but he was being heavily marked. He couldn't do it all himself. So Cerny picked the right time to attack, 20 odd K to go, and was strong enough to hold him off and bring CCC their their first World Tour win of the season? Definitely their first Grand Tour win of their existence. So it's all too late to save the team, but for Cerny, he's put in some good rides this Giro and probably put himself on the radar to get signed up for next year. You'd think, because fourth in the TT and then a big stage win here. It's a good little week that he's put together.
Yeah. Yep. Simone Clark. There was three Australians in the move.
Lockie Morton put his nose into the front of the race, which was nice to see.
Lockie Morton, Nathan Haas, and Simon Clark picked up fourth on the stage, which just continued a strong Australian presence across the race. Ben O'Connor too. I saw. Did you see he's picked up a contract, AG2R Le Mondial or AG2R Citroën now?
Yeah. We've been talking about them a lot as a really strong team for 2021. Looking at their roster, so good for him. Just the 1 year deal.
I thought that was the point I was going to bring up. Does that display how tough it is out there? Second on the stage before, stage winner, and then last man standing from the breakaway the next day up Stelvio, and you can only pick yourself up a 1 year deal.
I think, you're right. I think it just highlights the current climate of the rider market. If you're winning Giro stages and getting just a 1 year deal as a 24-year-old who's probably been outside the GC boys the best climber in the race, he probably could have done a good GC. If he had have chipped away in the first couple of weeks, but just the 1 year deal. It seems a little bit shallow.
It's like it takes you back to the drawing board.
1 year deals are dicey as, aren't they?
You get to January and it's like, oh, it's contract year again. I've got that thought ticking over in my head. What am I going to do next year? What am I going to do next year? You need to perform here. You need to perform here. You need to perform here. No settling into the team. French squad as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought that was awfully stiff for what he'd done. If he had just done that stage where he came second, right, 1 year deal.
Yeah.
Good ride, solid performance. Did some work for Domenico beforehand. But to come out and kind of crush those really tough stages, be the dominant climber, as you said, outside the GC boys, and to pick up a 1 year deal.
I think though, Alex, he's positioned himself quite well in this Giro. What type of rider he is, because if you're an opportunist that can actually go and win, especially with Bardet leaving the squad next year, maybe they go into Grand Tours with that kind of mentality, stage hunting. So for him, it's good. I know they got Bob Youngles going there, who's probably a 5th to 10th kind of GC rider / classics man. He's a little bit of a hybrid, but he should get some good opportunities at AG2R Citroën next year.
Yep. Anything else from the Giro?
I don't think so. Just like we said off the top, a bizarre evening, and overall, I don't think it's affected the outcome of the race, but it's tarnished the rep of the riders just a little bit.
I wonder what it'll take, for someone to rally the troops.
What do you mean?
For the CPA to pull themselves out of this weird state they're in. What do you actually need?
I don't know.
I don't have the answer. I don't have the answer.
I'm a bit more prepared for something like that.
Stage 20.
Yes.
It's getting real busy at the Giro. If you haven't seen it already, I'll get it up. The profile is out.
Yeah, bring it up.
Well, it's not out, but it's on Pro Cycling Stats. Here it is. This is what we're dealing with.
What do you do? Go. You know who I'm glad I'm not is the man calling the shots at Sunweb. To defend this with two riders, arguably the one in second stronger than the one in first on the climbs. it's going to be a really tricky day for them tactically.
It's Luke Roberts, no?
I think he is one of the DSs there. I'm not sure whether he's the DS at the Giro.
Yeah, I've seen him at the Giro.
Okay, so he's there. Yeah.
I don't know if he's the man, like the buck stops with him, but good for Hindley with a little bit of an Australian influence.
Yeah, but I think it's clear from Jai's press the last couple of days he's completely there for Wilco. He's not going to go rogue. And like we said yesterday, I think he's going to stay with Wilco, unless Wilco completely blows up.
Yeah. I think there's two scenarios here. One of which you've just stated. Wilco blows up completely. A minute plus.
But then if Jai's back there, can he just can't just bounce straight back up to the front boys?
I don't think
it's almost when you make the call, you commit.
So I'm thinking it's Jai's following through this Cat 2, through this Cat 1, until about here. If Wilco's still around the mark here, Jai, you are doing the job.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But if Wilco's blowing up here, you can't let Jai go back. Because you'll lose it all.
Yeah.
I
tend to agree, but then Jai's got to be sure that he can distance Teo somewhere along the line.
Yeah, and that's the next call. So let's just hypothetically say Wilco blows up here, Cat 1, halfway up, exactly the same as Stelvio, pretty much. Blows up on the second last climb, 1K to go. Rowan will probably be there because he's all of a sudden this hard-ass climber that can just drag his way over these monstrous climbs, an ultimate domestique.
Big gears.
Yeah, just diesel his way up these climbs. So Rowan will be doing the tap down here, drop off here. It'll be Jai and Teo here. If Wilco is more than a minute behind here, Jai has to attack.
Yeah. Do you think there's any possibility of some third party action?
I think there's heaps of third party action possible.
Third dog to come in and take the bone.
That's the danger for. I don't know about the bone. I think the bone race is pretty tight. I think that's Wilco, Jai, and Teo. But Almeida, Bilbao.
Bilbao's the danger, isn't he? Just
full
lurking there. What's
that? Do something.
Bilbao is only like a minute odd off the jersey. That's danger for mine, and he can do a good TT.
Yeah, Spanish national time trial champion. Yeah,
which we talk about often.
Yeah, I think that's a long shot, but I think that's not a long shot for the podium. And there's danger that these three, you may as well throw Conrad in there too, can team up with Teo to do the work to get rid of these two.
I don't think anyone. I mean, what we've seen, I don't think anyone's getting rid of Jai.
No, he's the best climber in the race.
I think Jai's the best climber in the race. Wilco has proven that he's probably not quite there. He's probably not that top cut of climber, but he can diesel, he can dig in, and he knows that he's got a TT lingering on Sunday, pink jersey and all that goes with it. But I think Ineos, they're going to try and get some guys in the move. Again, easier said than done. I think Sunweb's going to be doing everything they can not to let that happen. But if they can get like a Swift or Ghana has even proven that he can do some good work in these climbs, big body, big diesel, get up for the big occasion, and then leave Rowan with Teo to just be that super domestique that he was the other day. Like I said a few days ago, they'll be cooking something up here. They'll be cooking something up like what Froome did a few years ago.
Yeah,
there's something boiling in that camp. So I'm sure they're going to try and win the Giro here and there. They're not confident with Teo going head to head with Wilco, so they're going to have to try something, and it's going to be super exciting.
And all right, let's put yourself in the Ineos DS seat. Where, when, and how are you going to launch Teo?
I reckon you try and you go full gas for as quickly as you can and as soon as you can, i.e., the first time up Sestriere. Probably just where that line is before the top of the climb. It looks reasonably, it looks reasonably flat up until there. But then that last part, you got to try and rip it as early as you can. And if you lose teammates, if you end up being mano or mano, 50k to go, so be it. You've got to try and lose it to win it.
If Teo is here solo, it's not a bad outcome. If Wilco is not even in the picture,
yeah,
because from there, it's a case of he just has to be within, let's say, 10 seconds of Jai at the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
Is the time bonus though, if they're running for the win as well.
Yeah.
Throws a little spanner in the works.
I mean, we could talk forever about the ifs, buts, and maybes of what's going to happen tonight, but I tipped Teo, I think, on the second rest day or maybe the day after, so I'm going to stick with him. I think Sunweb might get a little bit too caught up in the two-prong attack. I hope not. For Jai's sake, I hope Jai becomes the first Australian winner of the Giro. A little bit of history.
Imagine that.
It's going to be a showdown. Jai is the favourite for the stage tonight. He's the best climber there, but whether tactics come into it and team responsibilities take priority, I think Jai or Teo for the win. Again, not groundbreaking.
I just think it's going to be a very similar situation to what we had the other night. Ineos on the offense, Sunweb on the defense, Jai up the road, Wilco hanging on for dear life.
Does Sunweb? I mean, that's pretty ludicrous. But do they try and put someone up the road
for Wilco late in the piece?
Just late in the piece. I don't know whether the team's going to allow that, but could be something to think about.
And because, they just have some bloke parked at the top of the Cat one, just sitting on the side of the road waiting for Wilco to join.
Because for them, there's no value in trying to tear the race to pieces like they have done a couple of times. That's not what they're going to look to do. So, getting someone up the road, nice little bit of defense. But
well, there's two thoughts here. There's one, if you're riding for Wilco full noise, you want the breakaway to win, pick up those bonus seconds.
Yeah.
But if things go pear shaped and you want Jai to win, then you need those bonus seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I think he can put time into Teo, but it's not like he's going to put minutes into Teo.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Whereas Teo can put minutes into Wilco, I feel. That was a long day up Stelvio. That was a long, long day. Oh my God, that would have been so hard. I feel for Wilco for where the position he's in a sense. He's awfully vulnerable, but he's got the opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah.
This is the ultimate pressure cooker. This is why they get paid so much. They earn every dollar they get, for me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I don't envy Wilco at all.
Or the Sunweb DS.
Or Sunweb. Jai's just sitting pretty. He's got his stage win. He's on the GC. Yeah. It's going to be a good one. Does John... No, he doesn't. He's a minute and 9 seconds ahead of Bilbao. He doesn't need to be careful that Bilbao gets busy on the time trial, does he? For the podium.
I don't think he's thinking about that at all right now. Vuelta, fam.
Vuelta. We got what we expected. A lot less drama at the Vuelta than the Giro.
Looks like a stressful day though. When you average 49k an hour, that's a quick day. That last 10k looked absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
Super fast running. Quick Step got super organized. It was just so well drilled. I think it was 2 or 3K to go. They just completely had it lined out. Got a little bit lost in the last K or so, but Sam Bennett, oh my God, he had a lot of work to do out of that final corner because Philipsen went early, thought he had it. My boy Ackerman, not quite at the races, a little bit of bad position. I think he needs just that really fast, straight 80k an hour sprint. But Sammy Bennett, he found a way through the traffic, lined up Philipsen and took the win. So hats off to Sammy Bennett. What do you win? Two stages of the Tour, stage of the Vuelta. Is he the fastest sprinter in the world at the moment? Maybe. But yeah, Quick Step again. Just winning, just winning shit. Just always winning. Doesn't matter where and when, with who. Just winning bike races.
How was the posse? 3K to go. They weren't in sight. Couldn't see. Like, where are these guys? They're not even in the bunch. 2K to go. 8 guys on the front. Seems like they have 46 riders. Just all you can see is Quick Step. Here, there, and everywhere. I really enjoyed Philipsen's performance. Didn't let us down. Boxed on hard into that last corner.
Always gonna. We know that.
Always going to box on hard and threw it down.
Like, and Mareshko, the quick Italian from CCC, he was in third, and he was coming quick as well. So we knew that he might have been a cut below. We probably put Bennett and Ackerman as the top two, and then maybe Philipsen and Mareshko just the tier below. But yeah, I'm quite looking forward to the next gallop because Philipsen's going to get a bit of confidence out of that. And that's almost a little bit dangerous if he's getting confidence. He's going to be diving into corners that aren't there.
He doesn't need any more confidence, that boy. That was about it.
Yeah. It just with the Giro on, it really does feel like the Vuelta is just taking a back seat at the moment.
It's a bit like watching a 2.1.
A little bit. I don't know why. Because have super riders there, but it just feels a bit off. Just the Spanish countryside, nowhere near as nice as Italy or France. I think Cadell was talking a little bit about this when we did the podcast with him a few weeks ago, that the reason why people enjoy watching Grand Tours is because of the scenery. That's part of it, and the Vuelta just doesn't quite have the same feel about it as the other two, perhaps, on that front.
I think also for me, it's starting to get a bit of fatigue. Like the
as a
tour
spectator,
as a spectator,
yeah.
Like the tour was so good. I really, especially in Melbourne lockdown, like the tour couldn't have come at a better time. It was so enjoyable. Every stage, I wanted to watch it all. Couldn't get enough of it. The Giro, not quite the same levels, but really got into it, especially once Jai, Ben O'Connor, those kind of guys started to get to work. Really enjoying the Giro now. And there's just no break. You just straight into the Vuelta. There's no 6-week gap like you normally see.
No.
I don't know if I need another Grand Tour.
Well, it rings true, doesn't it? There can be too much of a good thing.
And when it's not as good as the other, then we have the Vuelta and the Giro.
Yeah.
The only one that the things that got me my attention was the one day as when they started coming back on, like Flanders, Skilder Prize, even Depan the other night. That was good. But yeah,
I think Depan was almost the pick of the bunch in terms of filthiness, wind, rain, Quick Step, 10 guys in the front.
Yeah.
Who's your tip this evening for the Vuelta? Do you want to bring up the parcours quickly, and we'll tie up this loose end?
Yeah. Stage 5?
I believe it is stage 4. It's stage 5. Stage 5 tonight.
5. Stage 5. No mucking around.
No messing around. A little bit, maybe more messing around than the previous sort of hilltops that we've had, or the hillier stages.
Yeah. Maybe a day for the breakaway. First opportunity for them.
Yeah, possibly a day for the breakaway. If not, I know we've tipped Valverde a little bit, but I do like Valverde here. That last climb, that's 8.8k, only at 5%, and then there's a ramp actually to the finish. But how far are we? 184k. There's a lot of flattish road in the first 110k. So you're right. I think it's the first real chance for the breakaway to go to the finish.
Yeah. Have we got this little kicker at the finale? That's the Cat 2. That's Cat 1. Don't really get any intel from on the actual finishing ramp.
No.
Still yet to get our race books.
Working on it.
Sorry, what are you going? We both were on Valverde.
Yeah. In the case of a breakaway, I'd like to talk about a few Australians. Nick Schultz is looking really good.
Yeah,
isn't he? Schultz, he's looking really good. He was showing good form in the classics, in the Ardennes classics, and then he was seen helping Esteban come back to the front when he had the bike change the other day. So there wasn't many guys left. So he's got good legs. And Rob Power the other day too, stage 3, he was only a minute off the leaders. So his legs are okay, and it'd be nice to see him go up the road and try and win a stage. So from the Australian perspective, probably those two. I don't know if Michael Woods has recovered from his crash on stage 1. EF always good for the breakaway.
I thought you were going to mention Jay McCarthy then. That's who I'm looking at.
Yeah, again, that's good.
Uphill kick, a little bit tricky. Ackerman not there. Sniff out an opportunity for Jay McCarthy.
Are you talking from the Fuga or from the bunch?
I don't know is the answer.
One way or another.
One way or the other, another. Really hard day, ridden from the GC or the climbing bros. Ackerman gone, or to sniff out the breakaway.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool.
Just a quick one. Max's tip for the stage yesterday, Moshkedi was 6th, so he was thereabouts.
He was around thereabouts.
So,
and Max Corn will be joining us on Monday to unpack the Giro.
Full unpack
Monday 5:30. Back at the normal shift.
Yep.
We're back here tomorrow at the normal shift. I imagine there'll be a lot to talk about tomorrow.
I think so. I think yes.
If there's a day you're going to stay up, Saturday night in Australia, an Australian with a
off
red
the back of the grand final too.
Off the back of the grand final, good energy in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight would be worth tuning in for.
Yeah. Cool. See you tomorrow.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back here at our normal time slot of 5:30, and enjoy tonight.